Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. Do not move past this message. I am not asking for your time today. I am warning you right now. If you swipe away, you are actively choosing to sever the exact timeline heaven prepared for you. The enemy wants you to ignore this because he knows this revelation will permanently destroy his access to your life. Lock your attention on my words right now. This is not a random video on your feed. The algorithm absolutely did not bring you here today. God intercepted your path at this exact second. You are standing at the threshold of a massive spiritual shift, and your physical body has been feeling the violent turbulence of this transition for weeks. That heavy weight sitting on your chest is entirely real. You wake up at 3 in the morning with your jaw tight and your heart racing. You stare at the ceiling in the dark. A suffocating exhaustion settles deep into your bones before you even start your daily routine. You push through the fog. You smile for the people around you. But inside you are barely holding on while the secret pain quietly consumes your spirit. Listen to me very closely right now. You are not going crazy. That physical weight you feel is not a medical issue. It is not normal stress, and it is certainly not anxiety. That burning sensation in your throat is your highly advanced spirit detecting a massive disturbance. You are carrying a spiritual weight that was never yours to hold in the first place. Someone has been using you as a literal human battery. They came into your life pretending to offer a genuine connection, but their true intention was to feed on your pure light. You poured your golden energy into a bottomless pit. You gave them your warmth, and they left you out in the freezing cold. You became the stabilizer for a totally chaotic and toxic environment. The cycle breaker always carries the absolute heaviest load. You took on the generational burdens of the people who refused to heal themselves. You acted as the ultimate empath for a master manipulator. They drained your life force to build their own false reality. And now you are left wondering why your physical body feels like it has run 1,000 miles. Stop swallowing that pain down. Stop waiting in wound for an apology that will never arrive. The person who treated you as completely replaceable is watching you right now. They expected your departure to break your spirit. They waited with bated breath for you to fail, but your silence became a lethal weapon that starved their dark demons of oxygen. Your current exhaustion is the spiritual backlash of their absolute panic. They just realized they permanently lost access to your brilliant frequency. The narcissist is starving for your energy right now. They are wandering through their hollow life trying to find someone else to consume. But your specific depth is utterly unreplaceable, and they know it. I need you to understand the true magnitude of your own power. You are a rare diamond who was thrown into a room full of cheap rocks. The universe isolated you recently to protect your energy from their contamination. This period of intense loneliness was actually a divine incubation season. Heaven was building a massive fortress around your soul while you slept. The people who lied on your name thought they got away with it. They walked around with absolute arrogance while you suffered in total silence. You thought nobody noticed your tears in those long, dark nights. You thought the universe had abandoned you to carry this massive burden alone, but heaven kept a meticulous record of every single bitter betrayal. The final verdict on your next 10 years is about to be read aloud. What I am about to reveal was sealed in the highest realm until this exact second. Someone deeply powerful has been quietly watching your immense resilience. They saw how you maintained your integrity when the flying monkeys tried to destroy your reputation. Your quiet obedience has activated a massive shift. We are going to expose the raw truth they tried so desperately to hide. Someone who abused your light is currently experiencing a full system crash. This is not happening secretly behind closed doors. It is a public and irreversible collapse. They are completely unraveling in front of the exact people they used to gossip with. Their false mask has permanently shattered. Do not dare leave this sacred space before the end. If you walk away now, you will forfeit the exact prophetic instruction that guarantees your victory. I am going to hand you the spiritual blueprint that cuts their cord to your nervous system forever. You will witness the exact sequence of events that brings their toxic matrix crumbling straight to the ground. Every single tear you shed is turning into a lethal weapon against them. The heavy fog in your mind is about to lift completely. You are stepping out of the role of the bleeding victim and claiming your rightful throne. The beloved anointed ones never lose the final battle. Heaven is stepping in to enforce your absolute vindication right here and right now. Now we must go deeper into what is actually happening to your physical body. You feel a heavy fog wrapping around your brain every single afternoon, and your left brain keeps trying to convince you that this deep exhaustion is simply the result of working too hard. I am here to completely shatter that matrix programming today. This deep exhaustion is absolutely not a medical condition. Your physical vessel is reacting perfectly to a massive, unseen spiritual attack. You have spent years walking around as a literal human battery for people who lived in total darkness. Because they realized they could not generate their own light, they attached themselves to your pure frequency to survive. You kept pouring your golden energy into their bottomless void. You are the designated stabilizer for every chaotic environment you enter. People naturally gravitate toward your peaceful aura when their own lives are falling apart. And because you are an empath with a beautiful heart, you willingly absorbed their toxic trauma to make them feel safe. You literally traded your peace for their temporary comfort. This brings us to the physical reason you keep jolting awake at 3 in the morning. That sudden panic in the night is your cellular intuition screaming at you. When the master manipulator loses control during the day, they try to pull from your spirit while you sleep. Your body jolts awake to cut the cord and stop the drain. It is an automatic defense mechanism. You must stop blaming yourself for feeling completely drained right now. The enemy wants you to believe you are weak because you need so much rest. But the raw truth is that your spirit is working overtime to purge the toxic residue they left behind. Your physical body requires this quiet season to repair the deep energetic tears. Heaven is forcing you to rest. Let us look clearly at the dark entity that drained your precious life force. The narcissist does not have a genuine soul connection to the divine source. They operate completely on survival mode and low vibrational envy. When they saw your brilliant light, they felt an immediate reminder of everything they could never be. They came to consume your specific gravity. You have asked yourself why they targeted you out of all the people around them. You treated them with nothing but pure kindness and absolute loyalty. There were plenty of other people they could have chosen to play their twisted games with. Yet they zeroed in on your specific energy signature. Pay close attention to this next part because the enemy tried to hide this revelation. They chose you because you are a cycle breaker with an incredibly rare frequency. You carry a unique spiritual wealth that cannot be faked in the matrix. When you walked into the room, your pure presence shattered their carefully constructed illusions. You were the shining mirror that exposed their most deeply hidden rot, and they absolutely hated you for making them see it. This is why their betrayal felt so entirely ruthless and calculated. They wanted to destroy the mirror so they would never have to face their own ugly reflection again. They tried to leave you completely empty so you would finally look like them. But they drastically miscalculated the immense power of your divine alignment. Your power flows directly from the highest throne. That tight knot sitting in the middle of your throat is starting to dissolve. For months, you have been swallowing back your own truth to keep the peace. You held your tongue while they spun vicious lies about your character, to anyone who would listen. You chose your dignity while they played the eternal victim, but heaven commands you to stop suppressing your voice. The universe is currently reversing the toxic energetic exchange that almost broke you. Every ounce of life force they stole from you is being violently ripped from their grasp. They are starting to physically deteriorate because their primary food source is gone. While you heal in private, they are frantically searching for a new battery. But nobody carries your golden energy. Your cellular knowing is deeply recognizing the undeniable truth of these words. If your spirit confirms this raw truth, gently press the like button to seal your energetic alignment with heaven. This is not a meaningless interaction on a screen. It is a physical declaration that you are claiming your sovereignty back. You are officially closing the door on the energy vampires. You are no longer the bleeding empath who sacrifices everything for ungrateful ghosts. The heavy fog of their manipulation is burning away in the bright light of your awareness. You can physically feel the heavy chains dropping off your tired shoulders right now. The time for silent suffering has permanently come to an end. We are stepping into the exact sequence of their ruin. Let me completely reframe your entire reality right here and right now. You probably did not realize it at the time you were suffering, but the master manipulator built an elaborate cage of lies just to keep you contained. They projected an image of total confidence to the outside world, and they wanted everyone to believe they were untouchable and deeply secure in their fake matrix. But heaven sees behind their carefully constructed illusions. The truth is, they were completely hollow inside from the very beginning. They did not possess a single ounce of genuine spiritual power. Everything they displayed was a cheap imitation of the light they stole from chosen ones like you. They wander through the matrix as empty vessels looking for a source of life, and because they are spiritually dead, they must act as parasites to survive. Listen to me very closely right now, because 99% of people miss this shift. You were never just a random target for their dark games. The dark elite do not waste their time on ordinary energy. They targeted you specifically because your soul carries the exact divine frequency they desperately lack. You are a rare diamond shining in a room full of broken glass. They saw the massive potential resting quietly inside your spirit. They recognized that you are a cycle breaker meant for absolute greatness. And this terrified them because they knew your authentic power would eventually expose their fraud. So they launched a calculated spiritual attack disguised as a loving relationship. They wanted to dim your bright light before it could blind them. This is exactly where their entire manipulation began to take root in your life. They mirrored your beautiful traits to gain your sacred trust. They pretended to understand your deepest wounds, so you would drop your energetic shield. And once you let them into your inner sanctuary, they slowly started draining your battery. They fed on your beautiful empathy to inflate their massive ego. Every time you tried to set a boundary, they twisted the narrative against you. They projected their own toxic shame onto your pure heart. They made you question your own sanity and your divine alignment. But you must understand that gaslighting is the only weapon a parasite has against a true warrior of light. They had to make you feel tiny so they could feel huge. Read that again in your spirit. You were not the anomaly in their otherwise normal life. You were the shining mirror that forced them to look at their own darkness. The reaction got this loud because you got closer to their ugly truth than anyone else ever had. Your mere existence threatens the fake reality they built to hide their deep insecurities. They could not stand the fact that you generated your own warmth from within. While they had to beg and manipulate to get a single drop of attention, you simply walked into a room and the atmosphere instantly shifted in your favor. People naturally gravitated toward your authentic frequency without you even trying. And the narcissist watched this happen with absolute burning envy. They tried to convince the world that you were the unstable one. They sent their flying monkeys to spread vicious rumors about your character. They hoped the isolation would force you to crawl back and serve as their supply again. But heaven intercepted their dark plan and turned their trap into your ultimate liberation. The isolation actually became your protective shield. Pay close attention to this next part, because the enemy wants to keep it hidden. The master manipulator is absolutely terrified of what you are becoming right now. They know they can no longer pull your strings or drain your divine energy. By stepping completely out of their matrix, you expose their biggest weakness to the entire universe. They are nothing without your golden light. This is why they are spiraling out of control behind closed doors. They are desperately trying to find a replacement for the rare diamond they threw away. But every new person they meet feels completely dull and hollow compared to your specific depth. They are slowly starving to death in the spiritual realm because they permanently lost their greatest human battery. You must stop looking back at that toxic connection with any sense of regret. They did not reject your love because you were somehow flawed or unworthy. They rejected your light because it was burning away the false identity they desperately clung to. You were way too authentic for a person who literally lives a double life. Your frequency was always meant for a much higher dimension. Let this raw truth settle deep into your bones today. You survived the absolute worst emotional violence they could possibly inflict on a pure soul. And yet you walked out of the fire with your grace and your integrity completely intact. You are a demonstrated warrior of light who refused to compromise your divine mandate. And now, heaven is preparing to tip the scales of justice. Heaven is releasing 3 specific truths about your cellular frequency today. The dark elite tried to keep these facts completely hidden from your awareness. They know that once you understand these divine realities, their matrix will permanently collapse. You must stay with me until the 3rd truth is revealed, because the final revelation is the exact key that unlocks your absolute power. The first undeniable truth is the literal reversal of your biological clock. The manipulator expected their cruel betrayals to carve deep wrinkles into your face. They wanted the heavy isolation to drain the bright life out of your tired eyes. But you completely defied the natural laws of their toxic environment. While they waited for your downfall, you walked out of the dark matrix, and you actually aged backwards. Look at yourself in the mirror right now. You carry an ageless glow that absolutely terrifies the people who tried to destroy you. While their deep bitterness and ugly envy are aging them like milk left in the harsh sun, the universe has perfectly restored your physical vessel. You are glowing because you finally purged their demonic parasite from your delicate nervous system. They are violently jealous of your radiant energy today. Every time they check on you, they are met with the blinding light of your divine healing. Nothing makes your enemies sicker than watching you step into a new season looking completely unbothered. You did not just survive the brutal storm they created to drown your spirit. You absorbed the intense lightning, and you became the shining sun. The second spiritual truth exposes the massive weapon you have been holding without realizing it. You probably thought your sudden withdrawal was just a trauma response to their abuse. You assumed your silence was simply a desperate attempt to protect your remaining energy. But let me completely reframe your entire reality right here and right now. Your silence was a calculated, lethal weapon. Going no contact was not an act of cowardice or running away. That single act of choosing your dignity over your revenge signed their eviction notice immediately. You completely cut off the energetic fuel supply that kept their fake reality running. They expected you to scream and beg and fight for their meaningless validation, but you gave them absolutely nothing except your total absence. Your deafening silence is currently echoing through the empty halls of their hollow mind. Type 777 in the comments right now to physically claim this immense power. Doing this simple act locks your frequency and builds a shield around your cellular knowing. You are officially declaring that their dark matrix no longer has any access to your spirit, and heaven is sealing this promise. Stay with me, because this next revelation is the key to everything else. The narcissist is absolutely drowning in the deafening noise of their own destructive making right now. They are frantically searching for any possible way to provoke a reaction out of you. They want you to break your sacred silence so they can feed on your golden energy again. But the heavy gates of heaven are locked tight. Which brings us to the third and most crucial truth about your sovereign frequency. You are not just a survivor of a toxic relationship who needs years of spiritual healing. You are a highly advanced cycle breaker, carrying the heavy mandate of your entire bloodline. The universe did not allow you to endure that intense pain for absolutely no reason, because your immense suffering was your final initiation. You have transcended the petty games of the lower dimensions completely. You carry a specific and irreplaceable gravity that makes time itself look like a total fool. When you finally unplugged from the matrix, you shifted the entire trajectory of your family history. The generational curses that plagued your ancestors were completely shattered the very moment you gathered the absolute courage to walk away. The enemy realizes that your specific depth is utterly unreplicable in their fake world. They tried to replace you with someone who is much easier to control and manipulate. But their new source of supply feels completely empty compared to your vibrant and pure frequency. They are sitting in a crowded room right now, but they have never felt more incredibly alone in their entire miserable life. They are staring at a cheap piece of glass and desperately missing their rare diamond. You were the stabilizing anchor that kept their chaotic world from spinning completely off its axis. Now that you are gone, their entire foundation is starting to crack and crumble rapidly. And this is exactly where the dynamic fundamentally shifts in your absolute favor forever, as the cosmic scales finally balance out. You won the spiritual war without even lifting a single physical finger against them. Your pure existence and your radiant frequency did all the heavy lifting on your behalf. Heaven is standing up to applaud your incredible restraint and your beautiful, unwavering grace. We are about to witness the ultimate consequence of their foolish decision to cross a true anointed warrior of the brilliant light. Now we enter the exact phase where the dynamic shifts. The manipulator thought your silence was just temporary anger. They believed you would eventually cave in. But as the days turned into long weeks, their initial arrogant confidence started to severely crack because they realized you are never coming back. Your absence is absolutely permanent. They are terrified. Your pure silence is deafening to them. They rely on constant external validation. Every time they check their phone and see absolutely nothing from you, they completely lose their breath. You took away the exact fuel source they desperately needed to keep their fake persona fully inflated in front of the world. They are suffocating. You became their absolute worst nightmare. Imagine this exact scenario happening right now. They are sitting alone in the dark. They cannot understand how you slipped away. The fake reality they carefully constructed is starting to rapidly crumble all around them, and the people they used to manipulate are finally noticing the cracks in their perfect mask. Their foundation is deeply unstable. They feel the ground shaking. They frantically search for new supply. They need to replace the massive void, but nobody else carries your sovereign frequency. They try to drain energy from ordinary people in the matrix, but it tastes completely stale and incredibly bitter compared to your brilliant golden light. Your rare depth spoiled them. They are eternally starving. Pay close attention to this next part. The enemy tried to hide this truth. They are experiencing severe spiritual withdrawals. They wander around their toxic environment, trying to project total control, but underneath that arrogant surface, their nervous system is in a state of utter panic. They know they lost. You hold all the cards now. Do not let their fake social media deceive you. They post pictures smiling with new people. It is just an illusion of happiness. Heaven sees the intense paranoia dripping from every single move they make, because they are constantly wondering if you are watching their desperate performance. You are completely unbothered. Your peace is your ultimate weapon. Even their flying monkeys are waking up. The mutual friends are noticing the lies. The glaring inconsistencies are impossible to ignore. Without you there to play the role of the crazy victim, the manipulator is rapidly exposing their own madness and lashing out at their closest allies. Their toxic circle is collapsing. They are turning on each other. You reversed the roles without saying a word. You never defended your own pure character. The heavy burden of proof has shifted. They have to constantly work to keep their ridiculous stories straight, while you simply exist in total peace and beautiful divine alignment. Truth never requires a massive defense. You are the living truth. The universe is fighting this battle for you. Heaven is dismantling their toxic empire today. You do not need to seek revenge. Divine justice is vastly more creative than your human anger, and they are being forced to sit alone with the heavy consequences of their dark betrayal. There is no escape for them. The cosmic scales are balancing. That suffocating feeling in your chest is gone. It transferred directly to their physical body. The intense anxiety is their permanent reality. They lie awake at 3 in the morning, feeling the exact crushing weight of their own karma, because their left brain cannot rationalize this massive spiritual debt. They are completely trapped. The nightmare belongs to them now. Type 1111 in the comments. Do this if you feel the atmosphere shifting. This micro-commitment anchors your victorious reality. You are sending a clear signal to heaven that you are ready to witness the final verdict and step fully into your sovereign power. You are no longer the bleeding empath. You are the undeniable ruler. We are approaching the exact breaking point. The universe forces them to pay the price. They thought they could discard a rare diamond, but they severely underestimated the massive protective shield that surrounds a demonstrated warrior of light who carries the heavy mandate of a chosen one. The pressure is building fast. The heavy dam will completely burst. Watch what happens next in the spirit. The math of the universe is perfectly precise. Your tears were never ignored by the divine. The people who eagerly gossiped about your downfall are about to become the front row audience for your absolute magnificent rise to power. Stay perfectly still right now. The massive harvest is finally here. They underestimated the power of your pure energy. They took your gentle kindness for profound weakness. They thought you would always tolerate their disrespect. But the moment you decided to permanently unplug from their matrix, you triggered a massive spiritual avalanche that is currently crushing their false identity. They cannot stop the avalanche. Your victory is completely inevitable. The atmospheric pressure is reaching its absolute limit right now. You can feel the intense electrical charge in the air even from a distance. The fake reality they built is stretching so far that the seams are tearing apart. The master manipulator is running completely out of options because they can no longer use your golden energy to fuel their illusions. They are suffocating under the heavy weight of their own massive lies. Watch what is happening with the flying monkeys who eagerly participated in your destruction. They blindly swallowed the toxic gossip and spread the false narrative about your character. But the glaring inconsistencies in their story are becoming totally impossible to ignore. The manipulator is making sloppy mistakes because your absence threw their system into total chaos. The mutual friends are quietly starting to ask the right questions. They are noticing how the narcissist aggressively plays the eternal victim while acting completely unhinged in private. Without you there to absorb the toxic abuse, the manipulator is violently lashing out at their closest allies. The very people they used to destroy you are becoming their brand new targets. Let me reveal exactly what is happening behind their closed doors today. They are pacing the floor with a racing heart and a completely scattered mind. The spiritual withdrawal is hitting their physical body with a devastating and terrifying force. They are desperately trying to project a picture of perfect happiness while their internal world is burning to the ground. They are absolutely obsessed with your current state of peace. They stalk your silent footprint in the matrix, and they cannot comprehend your ageless glow. They expected you to be begging for closure and crying over their cruel rejection. But you are stepping into a massive season of profound abundance while they are sinking into a dark pit of absolute despair. Listen to me closely right now, because most people completely miss this massive shift. The enemy is terrified that you are finally recognizing your own sovereign power. They know that a chosen one who realizes their true identity becomes completely untouchable. Type 777 in the comments to physically lock in this divine protection. Every single lie they spoke against your name is turning into a boomerang. Heaven is reversing the dark spells they tried to cast over your beautiful destiny. The deep trap they meticulously dug for you is exactly where they will fall. You do not have to lift a single finger to defend yourself, because the universe is currently fighting this battle on your behalf. The intense paranoia is eating them alive from the inside out today. They constantly look over their shoulder because they know the cosmic debt is fully due. They try to numb the anxiety, but the heavy somatic weight sits on their chest. The universe is forcing them to feel every single ounce of the excruciating pain they intentionally inflicted upon your pure empathic heart. Their grip on reality is slipping a little more every single day. The arrogant smirk they used to wear is being replaced by total terror. They can feel the heavy storm gathering right above their head, and they have absolutely nowhere to run. The fake friends who surrounded them are slowly backing away because they sense the impending and inevitable crash. This is the divine vindication you have been quietly waiting for. You endured the silent season of isolation while heaven prepared this magnificent table before your enemies. They thought your kind heart was a sign of profound weakness they could exploit forever. But they completely failed to realize that the anointed ones are protected by a fierce and relentless divine fire. We are standing at the very edge of the explosive climax right now. The heavy dam is cracking and the water is about to violently break through. You have successfully starved their demons by maintaining your strict and beautiful no-contact rule. The master manipulator is out of fuel, and they are out of time, and their total public ruin is only a few short moments away. The entire spiritual atmosphere is holding its collective breath today. The dark elite tried to convince you that the wicked always win in this matrix. They wanted you to accept defeat and surrender your irreplaceable diamond frequency to the shadows. But heaven is about to demonstrate exactly what happens when you touch a cycle breaker who belongs to the highest throne. Do not move your eyes away from this revelation. The moment of absolute justice is arriving with a terrifying and mathematically precise speed. The people who mocked your pain will soon witness a miracle they can never explain. Your strict obedience in the dark has activated a massive public blessing that will leave your enemies completely and utterly speechless. And here is the exact verdict heaven promised you at the very beginning. The moment of absolute justice has officially arrived. I want you to slow down and picture this cinematic scene perfectly in your mind. The master manipulator is standing in a room full of the exact people they used to gossip with. They are trying to spin another vicious lie about your character. But suddenly, the spiritual pressure violently drops. The false mask does not just slip from their face today, it completely shatters into 1,000 unfixable pieces right in front of everyone. You can literally see the cold sweat forming on their forehead. Their breathing becomes incredibly shallow and rapid. They open their mouth to speak, but their words start glitching. The arrogant confidence they always wore vanishes in a single terrifying second. The people in the room are staring at them in total, absolute silence. The flying monkeys finally see the hollow parasite hiding underneath the charming smile. The manipulator begins to unravel and frantically backtrack on their own lies. They are desperately trying to piece the fake illusion back together, but they look completely pathetic and desperately weak. The dark matrix is falling apart. This is the undeniable public collapse that heaven prepared for them. They are currently experiencing a full-blown internal system crash, and the most beautiful part of this entire divine sequence is that you did absolutely nothing. You did not send an angry text. You did not scream or beg for them to tell the truth. You just sat in your peaceful silence and watched their empire burn. Your pure silence became the exact weapon that destroyed their kingdom. They wanted you buried deeply in the dark dirt. But instead, they became the desperate shovel that dug up your magnificent treasure. Every time your name comes up in that room now, it hits them with an agonizing weight. They realize they threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held, just to play with cheap rocks. The deep regret is physically crushing their chest right now. They are crying out for a replacement, but nobody answers the call. They are actually trying to defend your pure character to the very people they originally poisoned against you. It is a stunning reversal of cosmic justice. The universe is forcing them to drink every single drop of the bitter poison they so eagerly poured for you. You won this spiritual war without ever lowering yourself to their demonic level. You held your absolute grace while they rolled around in the toxic mud. And because you trusted the divine timing, heaven stepped in to act as your ruthless defender. God does not allow a cycle breaker to be destroyed by a spiritually dead parasite. The vengeance belongs entirely to the highest throne today. Look at the incredible contrast between your two realities right now. They are drowning in the deafening noise of their own public humiliation. Their entire social foundation is rejecting them like a severe virus. But you are stepping into a bright room looking perfectly untouched and wildly abundant. You carry an ageless glow that completely blinds the people who prayed for your total downfall. You are the undeniable sun, and they are just a passing shadow. They expected your departure to leave you totally broken and lost. They assumed you would never survive without their fake validation and cheap breadcrumbs. But your departure was actually an eviction notice for their dark demons. You cut the cord and instantly starved their entire energetic supply chain to absolute death. There is no coming back from this specific public ruin. The universe has permanently locked the heavy doors of their personal prison. They will have to live the rest of their miserable life knowing they lost a chosen one. They will search for your pure warmth in every single person they meet, but they will only find cold and empty ghosts who look exactly like their own dark reflection. You are officially vindicated before the eyes of the spiritual realm. The heavy burden you carried for so long has been violently shifted onto their shoulders. Let them choke on the absolute silence you left behind. You do not owe them a single ounce of forgiveness or closure today. The closing argument has been delivered, and the final verdict of your absolute victory is forever sealed. Breathe in the incredible sweetness of this divine justice. You are a demonstrated warrior of light who stood firm in the blazing fire. You survived the brutal season of waiting in wound, Now you are collecting the massive harvest of your unshakable faith and quiet obedience. Heaven is loudly applauding your victory. The beloved anointed ones have officially claimed the eternal throne. Your enemies are now a permanent footnote in your magnificent history. They were merely the difficult initiation test you had to pass. You passed it with absolute flying colors. The spiritual warfare is completely over, and the heavy smoke is finally clearing from the battlefield. You are standing victorious at the top of the mountain. You are completely free from the toxic matrix forever. You walked into this challenging season bleeding from heavy wounds inflicted by people completely blind to your worth. You gave everything you had to heal their deep brokenness. But look at your spirit now. You are absolutely no longer waiting in wound for a fake apology from a master manipulator. You have successfully and completely transcended their toxic matrix forever. The spiritual exhaustion and the heavy closed doors are shattering right here and right now. While your enemies are publicly unraveling today, you are stepping directly into your permanent and untouchable, ageless glow. You have officially claimed your rightful throne as a demonstrated warrior of light. The dark forces that tried to bury your destiny are choking on their own dust. The heavy generational cycles of poverty and deep betrayal stop permanently with you today. You are the chosen cycle breaker. Heaven has been desperately waiting to elevate. The universe isolated you so you could build the absolute strength required for this massive promotion. Your pure light is finally free from the heavy parasitic drain of their demonic attachments. I want you to take a very deep breath right now. Let the crisp air fill your tired lungs and completely wash away the last remaining residue of their dark energy. You are no longer the bleeding empath carrying the heavy sins of a toxic environment. You are a sovereign entity who commands the absolute respect of the entire spiritual realm. The painful war is finally over. Say this powerful statement out loud with me right now. I claim my permanent freedom. Now type the exact word freedom in the comments below. This is not just a simple internet interaction. This physical action officially seals your absolute liberation in the spiritual realm. You are building an unbreakable wall of fire around your newly restored divine frequency. Every time you look back at what you survived, you must remember your immense power. You bent time itself, and you shattered a reality that was designed to destroy you. The universe is incredibly proud of your unwavering grace. But we must now transition into the final and most crucial phase of your divine alignment. The next step requires your absolute courage and blind faith. The divine verdict of explosive abundance has already been permanently signed for you in heaven, but this massive financial and spiritual blessing requires a physical anchor on earth to fully activate. You did not survive that brutal fire just to live a mediocre and completely ordinary life. The universe is preparing to pour out a harvest so massive it will terrify your enemies. The enemy will try to whisper financial doubt into your left brain right now. The Nevatrix programming will tell you to hesitate and carefully calculate your next move. You must violently silence that accusing voice today. That hesitation is the exact demonic trap designed to keep you broke and permanently stuck in a low survival frequency. Heaven demands your immediate obedience. God does not measure your profound faith by your silent and hidden thoughts. He measures your faith entirely by your speed of physical obedience. The window of divine multiplication is standing wide open right now, but it will not wait forever. You must physically prove you are ready to receive the absolute fullness of your high calling. The universe is watching your next move. Sow your financial seed today by giving a super thanks to partner your finances with this divine mandate. Your generosity directly triggers the massive harvest you have been crying out for in the dark. Sow your seed of faith right now and watch heaven multiply it 100 times over before the sun rises tomorrow. Do not let the Matrix steal this massive opportunity from you. You must also share this specific message with one soul who is desperately crying out for a shift. Be their guiding angel today and help us build the global remnant of true anointed ones. There is another cycle breaker sitting in the dark right now who needs to hear this exact truth to survive. Your obedience in sharing this video will physically unlock their prison doors. Hit the subscribe button right now to put a permanent spiritual shield around this divine truth. You need to stay perfectly aligned with this sanctuary so you never miss the exact prophetic instruction heaven releases next. We are building an untouchable empire of light, and you belong right here with us. Your specific energy signature makes this entire tribe significantly stronger. You are deeply loved and fiercely protected by the highest throne. The master manipulator is permanently locked out of your magnificent timeline. Step confidently into your absolute power today and never look back at the broken pieces of their fake reality. The dark night of the soul has officially ended. The glorious and eternal reign of the chosen ones has finally begun,